Welcome to Netflix Recaps. Today we are going to be looking at the 2018 film, Adrift. A woman named Tami wakes up inside a boat, surrounded by water. She tries to look around and spot her boyfriend Richard, but she can't find him. There are things floating all around her when she tries to move and find a way out. After struggling and trying multiple times, she can get outside and finds herself alone in the middle of nowhere. The waves are striking and the boat is in the middle of an ocean with no sign of any land or ships. She shouts and cries and calls out for Richard. The scene goes to the past, where Tami is coming out of the boat carrying her stuff. She says goodbye to everyone as she goes to get a ticket for Tahiti. The man on the counter asks her about her profession and how long she's planning to stay there. Tami tells him that she doesn't know when she will be coming back or her destination. She leaves. The next scene is in Tahiti, where she is cleaning the boat with Deb. Deb asks Tami about the reason for coming to Tahiti. Tami tells her about the winds fascinating her. She tells her about a recent gig that ended and says that she was free to go home but didn't feel like going back yet. Deb asks Tami about her home and she tells her about living in San Diego, California. A man appears with his boat, Meluga, and asks the girls to help him out. Richard introduces himself to Deb and shows gratitude towards the girls for helping him out. Tami wakes up in the morning and goes out. She fills a bucket with ice and takes it to Richard. Richard, who is slicing the fish, takes the bucket from Tami. He asks her over for dinner, to which Tami agrees. She tells him that she's a vegetarian and likes to see the fish alive rather than dead. Richard tells Tami about the many experiences he had on Meluga. Tami is amazed to know that Meluga was built by Richard when he worked at a boatyard. While they are eating and drinking, Tami asks Richard about sailing alone. He first jokes about the miserable experience, but then says, "It's a feeling I can't describe. It's intense, the infinite horizon. I feel as if I am reborn." He describes the feeling of the boat cutting through the ocean, with the wind blowing in his face. He apologizes to Tami for being so cheesy and then guesses about Tami being a sailor. She tells him that she is not exactly a sailor but knows a thing or two about it. Richard asks Tami to take Meluga out for sailing. They go out in the middle of the ocean and have fun. The scene shifts to Tami crying and looking for Richard. She tries to locate him by looking through binoculars, but she can't see him. She goes down to use the radio and reach out for help, but all she hears is static and she cannot make contact with anyone. She tries to adjust a frequency, but all in vain. She cries and shouts, the boat is sinking. She keeps calling for Richard. Richard and Tami are hiking in a forest. Tami spots a stream and jumps into the water while Richard follows her and swims to find her. He spots her sitting under the water, holding her breath. Both of them come to the surface and laugh. Richard says to her, "I have never met anyone like you before. You are fearless like a bloke." Tami laughs and replies, "I have also never met anyone like you. Sensitive as a woman." And starts laughing. Tami is sitting on a beach while Richard takes her photo. He sits next to her and kisses her under the shadow of a palm tree. Tami wakes up exhausted, resting on the edge of the boat. She looks around and spots a lost dinghy with Richard clinging to it. She tries to start the motor, but it doesn't work. She gets the wheel moving and starts fixing the boat so it can move. She falls into the water and finds the boat drifting away. She swims as fast as she can and reaches closer to the boat. She climbs the ladder and gets in. She uses tape to patch up some of the cracks and openings, pumps the water out, and finally, when the boat starts going, she becomes happy and cheers. Richard is decorating the boat with pictures of him and Tami from different places. He goes out to Tami while she's sunbathing. He hands her a gift box and asks her to open it. Tami unpacks the gift and finds a new dress in the box. She becomes happy seeing the dress. Tami completes the rest of the fixing and spreads the clothes to dry. She takes a look around with binoculars but doesn't spot any movement at first, but later spots Richard and shouts, "Almost there." She brings the boat closer to him, attaches a safety harness, and swims to get to Richard. She reaches him and swims him back to the boat. She takes a look at his body after seeing him groaning in pain and finds that Richard has broken ribs and a very badly injured leg. With the help of some materials from the boat, she manages to make a bandage for his leg wound. Tami and Richard are in a market looking at different flowers when he hands Tami the flower of love, frangipani, and tells her about it. They are having dinner when Tami tells Richard about her sweet 16. She tells him that her mom took her to a bar where she had 10 shots of Midori and it was the worst hangover she ever had. Richard guesses that her mother was also the wild type, a person young to heart. Tami tells him that her mother was 15 when she conceived Tami, but on her sweet 16, she was 31. She tells him about being raised by her dad's parents. She tried to run away a few times, but then waited to graduate so she could split. Tami tells Richard about the crazy experience of living on a bus with her girlfriend, from buying a salsa company to surfing every day. Tommy makes Richard dance with her, and they have a lovely romantic time together. Richard asks Tommy, "Will you sail around the world with me?" To which Tommy remains quiet and laughs softly. They are in a market, deciding which place they should be sailing to first. Tommy tells Richard about going to Japan and that she always wanted to go there. Richard becomes happy and replies, "It's been number 1 on my list." They decide to sail to Japan. Richard says to Tommy, "We will go anywhere you want us to go." They are coming out of the market when they encounter Peter and Christine. Richard greets them both and introduces Tommy to them as his girlfriend. Peter asks them over for coffee. They are in a coffee shop. Peter offers Richard to sail his yacht back to San Diego. He offers Richard $10,000. Richard agrees to take his Anna back to California on the condition of getting a return ticket for Tommy too. Peter agrees and makes a deal with Richard. 2 days adrift, Tommy calculates their location. She tells Richard that she sucks at math and that it's not a good idea for her to be in charge. Richard says, "You can do anything once you put your mind to it." Tommy tells him about her mom, who always used to say that she has a strong mind. They both talk about their lives, how they went differently from what their parents wanted for them. Tommy says that she would have been like her mother, living in the suburbs with kids, while Richard guesses being in the Naval Academy, as per his father's wish. Tommy looks around and says, "We are somewhere far away." Richard tells her that they are drifting. He gets the details of their location from Tommy. Tommy is scared of dying in the boat because no one knows where they are, but Richard tells her everything is gonna be okay. Before going to California, Tommy sits down when Richard comes and asks her, "Are you okay?" Tommy tells him, "I don't want to feel like I'm following you in your adventure. I get that it's a really cool opportunity, but I am not really looking to go home yet." Richard tells her that he is going to say no and they can do what Tommy wants. He says, "I have sailed half the world to find you. I am not letting that go." Tommy smiles and asks him when they're going to see the big bad boat. Back on the drifting ship, Tommy is checking the direction of the boat. Richard guesses that they will reach San Diego in 25 days, but if the wind continues to flow the way it is flowing, their path can be altered. Tommy suggests going to Hawaii. Richard tells her that most sailors never made it there, and the chances of survival are significantly less, but Tommy decides to take the route to Hawaii. Richard agrees with her and guides her in the direction. Christine and Peter are talking about their visit to London. Richard asks them the reason why they're going. Peter tells them about the deteriorating health of Christine's father. He thanks Richard again and leaves to get some ginger bears from his house, leaving Tommy and Richard to get comfortable in the ship. Tommy becomes fascinated by the interior of the boat. She starts writing to her mother. She tells her that she is finally coming home and this time she will be bringing her new boyfriend, who she thinks is the only one for her. She describes Richard to her mom and tells her that he is English, a bit older than her, and has been with her for a few months. She's excited to go and see her mom and grandparents. The scene shifts to the boat, where Tommy is collecting items not destroyed by the water. She manages to bring all the salvaged items in a bag to Richard. She gives him some water and then asks him to close his eyes. When he opens them, he finds a jar of peanut butter in Tommy's hand. They both eat it and enjoy the goodness of actually having something delicious to eat. Before the boat gets twisted in the storm, Tommy and Richard are lying side by side, looking at the gorgeous sunset. Tommy describes it as red, while Richard says it is beet-dyed pomegranate. They both laugh. 5 days adrift, and Tommy is looking at some paperwork, trying to figure their location. She tells Richard about losing the latitudes. She gets up and grabs something to eat from their supplies when Richard stops her and asks her to ration. She goes inside the boat again and looks for some other stuff. She finds a tube of lotion and enjoys its fragrance. She comes out and applies it on Richard's face. She checks his wound and changes his dressing while he groans in pain. Tommy is counting the number of tins of food remaining. She realizes that the food isn't going to last for more than a few days. Richard suggests getting protein from the fish, but she disagrees with him and says, "I am not gonna kill any fish. I am not gonna make something suffer." Richard asks her to save food for herself, as he is just dead weight with broken ribs and shattered legs. Tommy finally goes into the water to catch some fish. She tries and fails multiple times, but Richard motivates her and keeps repeating, "You can do it." Tommy is sitting when it starts raining. Tommy becomes happy and gets lost in the moment. She drinks the rainwater, collects it, and asks Richard to drink it too. 18 days adrift. Tommy finds bottles of beer and she drinks and cherishes its taste. She takes a guitar and sings one of the songs Richard used to sing to her. Richard shows regret for bringing her on the trip and everything that happened to her. Tommy says, "If this wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have us to remember. I wouldn't trade this for anything." The scene goes back, where Tommy is asking Richard about the death of his mom. He tells her of his mother's suicide when he was just 7. He tells Tommy about his mother's voice he hears in his head and that it guides him in doing what's right. Tommy asks, so what is she saying at this moment? Richard goes down on his knees and proposes Tommy to marry him. He takes out a ring he made himself and gives it to Tommy. She immediately says yes to his marriage proposal. Tommy wakes in the middle of the night and sees a huge ship. She tries to signal them to get some help, but they don't get her signal and pass by. She starts crying and wonders if he is hallucinating. Tommy asks Richard, are we dead? To which he says, we are exhausted, dehydrated, and delirious, but not dead. Tommy looks at Richard's wound, gives him some water, and shares her food with him. Tommy tries to keep Richard awake. The scene goes back to the day of the storm. Tommy and Richard are looking at a land bird they find in the middle of the ocean and are fascinated by it. A man on the radio informs all the sailors about a Class 4 storm and advises all the boats safely. Richard and Tommy decide not to alter their path and make changes to keep them safe during the storm. The storm hits and Richard and Tommy try to stay safe, but the storm grows violent. Richard tries to talk to the radio and signal for help. He asks Tommy to go inside, says to her, I love you, when they get separated by the storm. Tommy is sitting when she says, I am gonna let you go now. I will love you forever. She gets up and Richard is not there. It is revealed that Richard was never found after the storm, and all this time, Tommy was hallucinating moments with him. After 41 days of trying to survive, she spots the land bird like she did once before with Richard. She sees land and is happy to be alive. She signals them and the crew members get her and offer her some food. After some time, Tommy goes to see Richard's boat and cries looking at the pictures. She stands on the shore, sets her ring on the flower of love, and lets it go. The movie ends with images of the real Tommy and Richard